All right, friends, let's talk about some hardcore punk rock. We will talk about hardcore because many people have asked me, hey, I heard hardcore is in great shape now. What should I check out? Well, our friends at the Hard Times put together a great list, which includes many of them. I'm going to go over their list and I'm going to add in a few of my own picks at the end. This is 10 current hardcore bands that will force you to stop saying hardcore hasn't been good since 1983 or since 2003. And you can see I slipped there because I'm so old that I remember people saying that hardcore hasn't been good since 1984. That's how old I am. I started getting into hardcore back in like 1990, 91. And back then people said hardcore died in 1984. And then people said hardcore died in whatever, 1995. It's one of these genres that's always dying. And yet somehow hardcore bands are always around and there are always great hardcore bands in any era. Here are some of the good ones that the people at the Hard Times want you to check out. And I think they're good too. And also, I want to thank Dave for sponsoring this video. It can be incredibly stressful when unexpected expenses come up, right? I remember years ago when I had no money and suddenly I had to get a bunch of dental work that was hundreds of dollars that I definitely did not have. Honestly, it was kind of terrifying. Now, Dave can help you get out of a pinch when you really need it. Dave is the banking app that can help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. And with Dave, there is no interest, late fees, or credit checks. That's more money to fill your tank, get your car fixed, or catch up on bills without having to wait until your next paycheck. So you can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out. And millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get the financial relief they need with extra cash. So if you're in a pinch and you need some help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Thanks, future you. So if you want to check it out, download Dave now at dave.com/Finn or hit the link in the description of this video. That's dave.com/Finn. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. The first one is Speed. So this is a band from Australia, I believe, kind of doing the Marauder thing. Whether you've been following Speed since their 2019 demo or you learned about them from their viral video at Sound and Fury Fest that scared a bunch of conservatives, you know that Speed is one of the most exciting new bands on the scene. They also have an air horn in one of their songs, which sounds cheap and gimmicky, but is actually extremely cool. I agree. Here it is. This is Not That Nice by Speed. Yes, hardcore has died at least 30 times, exactly. Some moshing in the streets there, too. You know the band brings it if they're moshing in the streets. It's interesting to me how influential Marauder is on this generation of hardcore because I'll play them for you in a second. When Marauder was sort of in their prime back in the 90s, people outside of New York really didn't care about them that much, which is too bad because their album Master Killer from 1995 or 96 is one of the best hardcore albums ever recorded. So if you like this band, I would suggest you check out Marauder, which is obviously like where they're kind of getting a lot of influence from. This is from their album Master Killer back in 95 or 96. One of the best hardcore albums ever recorded, in my opinion. 10 out of 10 album. One of the most just brutal yet catchy hardcore albums of all time. So you can hear kind of what Speed is going for. It's like updated version of Marauder. You can see he's wearing a Marauder shirt in the video, so you know where they're coming from. Second up, Scowl. With the aesthetic of a middle school girls' locker, you may not know that Scowl is a hardcore band at first glance, but between riffs made for knuckle dragging and vocalist Kat Moss's commanding stage presence, Scowl has even the toughest tough guys rocking flowered cover merch. This is Bloodhound by Scowl. As I recall, their older stuff was a little bit heavier than this, I think, but I like the aesthetic. average Echo Park resident in 2023. Just another day in Echo Park, people. These people look very Echo Park, don't they? Oh, it's Santa Cruz, okay. I gotta say, looking very... Oh, there's Sammy from Drain. Politely clapping for the folks in Scowl. Next up on the list is Spy. I actually don't know anything about this band. I have heard their name, but I don't know anything about them. So let's check them out. While hardcore shows should always be a safe space, they should also make you fear for your life a little bit. I disagree with the idea that hardcore shows should be a safe space. I'm sorry. I think hardcore shows should be a little bit scary. That's what I think. It's called hardcore for a reason. If you're not ready to get kicked in the face, maybe don't go to a hardcore show. That's what I think. I know, unpopular opinion, but that's just what I think. Hardcore and safety do not go hand in hand, in my opinion. Spy has a sort of feral energy for them that will have even the 6'4" dude in a terror tank standing in the back with his hands out in front of him. That's what I do. I stand like this. If I'm close to the dance floor, I'm serious. I stand like this the whole time because I don't want to get caught by surprise, get spin kicked, and lose a tooth. There are a lot of bands in the Bay Area that should be paying attention to, and if Spy isn't one of them, start now. Okay, I am starting now because I've heard this band's name, but I've never listened to them. This is Obtained Under Duress by Spy. I like the video so far. The singer of Spy used to sing for Rings of Saturn. Wow, unexpected. Okay. I like this. Very lo-fi. I like this. It's a little bit Southern Lord. It's kind of hipster. I agree, but I like it. You know, a lot of these feel like they're more in like the punk kind of hardcore direction. I feel like this band would have played with Charles Bronson back in the day. Uh-oh. I don't like where this is headed. He's got on his murderer gloves. When you see a guy roll up to your house wearing the gloves from like the 80s slasher movie, never a good thing. Okay. Solid two-step part here. Yeah, he's got the OJ gloves. If it doesn't fit, he must have quit. I saw something about Oakland. I gotta say, when I see people like this, I think Oakland. Average Oakland residents right here. This is Oakland in one screenshot. This is the vibe you want. Unclear whether these are like fentanyl addicts that live in a tent under the bridge or hipsters that play in a hardcore band. Unclear. That's the vibe you want. In Oakland, it could be either one. Maybe it could even be both at the same time. Just another day in Oakland. Okay, I like this band. It's cool. Pain of Truth from New York, from Long Island, I think. This is a live video of this band. I don't like live videos, so I found a different one, which is this. Very rare for hardcore bands to be from New York these days, which is interesting because back in the 80s and 90s, most of the best bands were from New York, but now it's rare. This is more my kind of vibe of hardcore. Another Marauder kind of riff there. Very New York. And this sort of illustrates the difference between these two things. So if you're new to hardcore, I think there's basically two versions of hardcore. There's the punk version. I would say Spy and Scowl are a little bit more on the punk side of things. And then there's like the more like metal tough guy side of things, which would be like Pain of Truth and Madball, Marauder, that kind of thing. And I have always been more on the like metal tough guy side of things. I like some of the more punk bands, but for me personally, I like the ignorant tough guy metal shit personally, which I would put Pain of Truth on that side of things. And by the way, when I say ignorant, I mean it in a good way. Next up, End It. When you hear the name Baltimore, you probably think of The Wire or maybe the Orioles if you're into baseball for whatever weird reason. Baseball is seriously the worst fucking sport other than soccer. Now, I take that back. Soccer is better than baseball. Like, baseball is so boring. What is there, like 180 games in a baseball season? Way too many fucking games in a baseball season. Like, why does baseball even exist? It's terrible. What you should be thinking of is hardcore because, in their own words, Baltimore is coming back with a bang, and End It are leading that comeback. Their single 21 also gets the official, unofficial Hard Times Anti-Cop Song of the Year award for 2022. Okay, well, let's check it out. This is New Wage Slavery by End It. By the way, you'll notice that a lot of these bands are on Flat Spot Records. I don't know much about Flat Spot, but they're definitely leading the pack when it comes to hardcore this generation. So shout out to the folks at Flat Spot Records. Let's check this out. I do not know this band, but let's check it out. Baltimore, definitely not a nice place. I will say that. Just another day in Baltimore. Okay. Sounds good so far. Okay, this is good. Kind of like the exact middle between like the punk and metal branches. Reminds me of a lot of stuff that would have been on Bridge 9 in the mid-2000s. Could have played with like Blacklisted or something like that. Okay, this part's cool. Reminds me of Blacklisted, Carry On, or Internal Affairs, kind of. Or like Old Terror. Got a little bit of a solo in there. Okay, solid. I was not familiar with that band, but it's good. I'll add a couple of my favorite bands, hardcore bands, in a minute here. Drain is one of them. In my opinion, Drain is probably the best current hardcore band, I think. They're an Epitaph. I did a podcast with Sammy if you're interested in learning more about them. I think this band is fucking awesome. This is not my favorite song of theirs, though. I like this song a little bit better, Feel the Pressure. I think Drain is fucking awesome. Very metal. Like, Drain is basically like thrash metal. Very crossover. Riffs for days. Very Slayer, yes. Just so many riffs. So catchy, so much energy, too. A good very important. This is perfection to me. This is as good as hardcore gets, in my opinion. So much groove, great riffs, great artworks. Everything about this is perfect. This is like a 10 out of 10 hardcore album. Like, as good as anything anyone has ever done in hardcore. Love this part. So thrashy. If you have not checked out Drain, I highly suggest that you do. Turnstile, of course, they have to be on the list. It's true. You may be mad that Turnstile is on this list. You may not consider them a real hardcore band anymore. Fuck that. I can't say that I love Turnstile's like newer music, but they're a hardcore band, no question about it. Like, if you don't think Turnstile is hardcore, get the fuck out of my house. That's all I have to say. Turnstile absolutely deserves to be on this list. I'm going to play you a couple other bands that I think deserve to be on this list before we move on. One of them is Ingrown from Idaho. Red State Hardcore right here, people. I love this band. Love this video. Love the vibe. I love everything about this. Real Idaho hours, people. Very pissed off. Very Idaho. Love this band. We got dirt bikes. We got guns. We got two-step parts. We got blast beats. Everything good about hardcore in one video. 10 out of 10 ignorance. Fat guy on a dirt bike doing a wheelie during the mosh parts. We got a porta potty in the video, people. If there's a porta potty in your video, it gets a 10 out of in my book. 10 out of 10. Love it. Make sure you check them out if you haven't. Another band that I would like to put on the list along the same lines is Momentum. More kind of ignorant, beat down hardcore from LA. Very Marauder. Everyone seems to be influenced by Marauder these days. I bought their I Went to Momentum show and all I got was held up at gunpoint shirt. Yeah. Allegedly, the singer of Momentum pulled a gun on somebody on tour. I don't believe this young man would ever pull a gun on anybody, so I think that's all cap. He would never do that. For what reason? I don't know what allegedly happened. I wasn't there, so I have no idea what did or didn't happen. But that's what they say. I don't believe it. He seems like a nice young man. I can't imagine he would ever do something terrible like that. I think this band is awesome. He would never do something mean. Like, that's a mean thing to do, but he would never do something mean. I think this band is awesome. That is Momentum from Los Angeles. Great band. Very Marauder. I'm a fan. Another band to check out, which I was surprised is not on this list, is Sunami from San Jose. If you're not ready to get crowd killed, do not go see Sunami. Very, very strong chance you're going to get crowd killed at a Sunami show. I was kind of surprised they weren't on that list. Love that drum sound. Just so much mosh. This is just built for crowd killing. It's so catchy. Everything's a hook. One of my teeth fell out listening to this. If you're gonna listen to this band, you might as well start your GoFundMe now for when you go get one of your teeth knocked out at their show. Here it comes. Here's the part where you get crowd killed. I was surprised Sunami was not on their list. Another band I would put on the list is Gridiron. I love this band. I don't actually know where this band is from. I feel like they're from somewhere on the East Coast. I don't know. This is No Good at Goodbyes by Gridiron, which is one of my very favorite current hardcore bands. I love this band. They don't get talked about nearly enough. This shit is amazing. You got nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. Oh, Philly. Yeah, that's right. They're from Philly. Yeah. I love this band. Super groovy. This could have come out in like 1996 in a good way. Also a big Marauder influence. No, it's not nu metal, it's Marauder. It sounds like Marauder. That's what it sounds like. There's no nu metal in this. This is Marauder. I love this band. Very disappointed that they're not on this list. Okay, moving on with the list from our friends at the Hard Times. Next up is Incendiary. Their album just came out, I believe, I think like this week. They've been around for a long time, but they have a new album. This is Bite the Hook by Incendiary. I do think they're good. I believe that they're also from Long Island, I think, right? They are from Long Island. Okay, that's right. Strong Island, New York. Some Will Putney production there, sounds great. That Will Putney guitar sound sounds great. This music is for guys who will beat you up and then go see their mother for some chicken parm. Yes, it is. Incendiary, great band. Gel. Well, originally self-proclaimed, Gel has absolutely earned the title Hardcore for the Freaks. So if you're not down with them, you're probably not very cool or fun to be around. Well, I am not cool, and I'm definitely not fun to be around. But I do like Gel. With their distinguishable sound and relentless touring schedule, Gel is the most exciting thing to come out of New Jersey in, well, a really long time. They've also one-upped Live Without by playing at a Sonic, which is an objectively better establishment than Denny's. I will agree with that. I think Denny's is shit tier. Okay, here is Mental Static by Gel. I think the Pitchfork people like Gel quite a bit, I think. I feel like the Pitchfork and Brooklyn Vegan types really like this band. Probably because they're definitely a little bit more on the indie alternative rock side of things. Like, I think they used to be a little bit more hardcore than this. I would say this is more like bordering on alternative rock. Not a bad thing, but just not exactly straight up hardcore. You know, if you don't want to get crowd killed to Ingrown or Momentum, maybe you like Gel a little bit better. Either way, you have options. That's the point. A little bit more accessible. Kind of D-beaty, like if the Breeders were D-beat. And last but not least, we have Mind Force, which I think he certainly looks like he's from New York. I don't know where Mind Force is from. Catchy sing-alongs, incredible mosh ability, and riffs even your dad would like. Mind Force has it all, masterfully blending the best elements of hardcore and thrash. Mind Force is a force to be reckoned with. If you get a chance to catch these guys live, make sure you wear your best tracksuit. And when vocalist Jay Peta inevitably tells the crowd he wants to see more kickboxing, you better oblige. Okay, I don't really like live videos, but let's watch this. Okay, this sounds good. They are very, very, very thrash. Very thrash. I like his fit. I miss the 90s hardcore scene. Tommy Hilfiger was the official uniform of the 90s hardcore scene, so I like that. Oh, they're from Poughkeepsie, okay. Here's the kickboxing part.
Kickbox!
There we go. Kickbox.
More kickbox!
More kickbox. I'll show you the song of theirs that I like the best. This song. Very thrash. Sounds like a thrash song from 1987. Did I mention avoid Poughkeepsie? Never go to Poughkeepsie. Avoid Poughkeepsie at all costs. You'll thank me later. Poughkeepsie is the butthole to Yonkers, and Yonkers is the butthole to the Bronx. There you go. Been to the Chance a few times, would not recommend. I've been to the Chance before as well. Last time I was at the Chance, I saw Suffocation there with Pyrexia. A bunch of bikers showed up with swastikas on their vests. That's the vibe in Poughkeepsie. Like, oh, this is gonna get interesting. Well, there it is, people. Courtesy of our friends at the Hard Time, proof that hardcore did not die in 2003. In fact, there are tons of great hardcore bands. You just heard about 10 or 15 of them. So there you go. If you were wondering about new hardcore bands to check out, now you know. You're from Poughkeepsie. I'm sorry to hear that.